right. Hello and welcome back to Third and Long Podcast. I'm your host, Mason Rooney, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-host, Cody Staron. Say hello, Cody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Cody, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. We should have taken our bye week this week. Nothing interesting happened this week. It sucks because we have to find filler ways to extend our this episode now. So,
Yep.
yeah, well, we're just going to recap a snooze fest of week 10, look at Thursday night, and for the first time this year, give our top 10 power rankings. We're only doing top 10 because 32 teams is a lot, and I don't feel like doing it. Main reason why. And plus, that teen area is so hard to, like 15 to 25 area. So it's really just a jumble of teams, honestly.
And it's just a very opinionated, subjective group of teams.
Yeah. So we're just gonna stick with top 10 because that's really the only thing people care about. If we're being honest,
Yep.
no one gives a crap about anything below 10. So I'll start off with this week 10 recap. And Cody, New Orleans, Tennessee. I'll be honest, I didn't really watch a whole lot of football this weekend. I had other plans, but it seems Tennessee might be fine without Henry. Was this the
Absolutely.
second week without Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they beat another playoff team. Granted, Saints are kind of a mess right now still,
Absolutely.
but a win's a win, and Tennessee looked fine. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but currently sit atop the AFC, and probably they're definitely a favorite to make the playoffs, especially in such a very weak division. That is that AFC South, I believe. So
Yeah.
the only team they have competing with them is the Colts, and they have their own set of problems that they might not be able to overcome this year.
Right. Unless Jonathan Taylor just puts the team on his back.
Yeah, you mean he's shown he's been able to do that. So, Buffalo Giants or Jets, my bad, wrong New York team. But who really cares? The Jets lost. Name a more iconic duo than the Jets in losing.
They just keep finding more and more ways to lose.
Yeah, and it sucks because
Perfect.
Mike White is no longer is out of GOAT status now.
Yep. My fantasy team no longer has a quarterback.
Yeah, you like to roll with the very volatile QBs. It seems.
I have no other option.
I mean, you have Kirk.
That's true.
You just want to find a
I
reason not to play him. It seems.
yeah, because he's the thing with my fantasy team is if I start the person, they do bad that week. So I try not to start Kirk because then he'll get like 12 fantasy points, meaning he's not going to play well.
Hmm.
So I try to not start him.
Well, I mean, you've been not good at fantasy this year. It's good. Yeah.
I'm not going to win regardless if I start him or not, so I might as well just keep him out and just save the season.
I guess. But speaking of saving seasons, Pittsburgh and Detroit. What a game.
I mean, the tie's going to end up helping Pittsburgh in the end, but
Oh yeah, they have a half a game advantage now. But that also
yeah.
half game could also come back and bite them in the ass.
Right, but I think it'll, in the end, I think it'll end up helping them.
Yeah.
Lions are still going to go 0-16.
Yeah, but at least they will not lose every game on the year. That's the biggest takeaway that's the biggest positive for the Titans. Honestly, they're not losing every game this year, so they could go 0-16-1 now.
Absolutely.
I feel like Pittsburgh's always a team that ends up with a tie.
Yeah, because for some reason they always have that one game every year where they aren't clearly aren't good enough to win, but they refuse to lose. So
Yeah, like I feel like the last few ties that have happened in the NFL have been
you're
with the
welcome.
Steelers. I'm not sure. It just feels like that because I remember few years ago when there was a. I'm looking at the most recent tie games. Huh, apparently
Seahawks Cardinals, right?
oh yeah, but since 2017 there has been 5 tied games and Steelers have tied twice.
Jesus, that was against the Browns, right?
It was against the Browns week 1. And everyone was like so excited because for like the first time in like 20 years or something, the Browns did not lose week 1.
Right.
So yeah, this tie ended a 17-game losing streak for the Browns. Oh yeah, that was the I think that's the year they drafted. Was it Baker? I think it's the year they drafted Baker.
Yeah, it's either Baker or Kaiser.
But yeah,
Baker might have been 2018.
maybe. Oh, but then I think the next week the Vikings and Packers tied.
Yeah, I remember that one. Neither Daniel Carlson nor Mason Crosby could hit the broadside of a barn.
I remember that game. It was pretty funny.
I think there was like 9 missed kicks in that game.
Yeah. But let's get back on track instead of taking a history lesson. Yeah, Pittsburgh and Detroit tied. Let's be honest, Pittsburgh should have lost this game.
Yeah, no, but the Lions definitely didn't play good enough to win either, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel
Neither
like
team
this
deserved
tie
to.
should count as a loss. If we're being honest, for both this tie should just count as a loss for both teams. They both
It's the
deserve the
worst
loss.
looking tie I've ever seen.
You obviously have never seen. You obviously don't remember that Seahawks Cardinals tie.
No.
That tie ended at 6-6.
Gross.
I know it's gross. I witnessed that shit live. It was awful.
Gross.
Jacksonville, Indy. Jonathan Taylor is now the best running back in the league. I will not take anything. I will not hear any other arguments.
Yep, Jonathan Taylor's the best. Jacksonville sucks.
Tampa versus football team.
Taylor Heineke owns Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Heineke has taken the GOAT crown from Tom Brady. So,
Yep.
all the meme lords out there can now praise Taylor Heineke as their GOAT.
Yep.
Nice ad in the background, by the way.
Seen that shit too.
Yeah.
This video's had 3 since we started recording.
Cleveland versus New England. Now I know it's still early, and this is only 10 weeks into the season, but so far Mac Jones is hands down the best QB of the draft, and it's like not even close.
I remember at the beginning of the year, my dark horse MVP prediction was Baker Mayfield, and I told everybody that he would take a step forward and bring it to the next level. I'd like to retract that statement and say Baker's a fucking bum.
Well, he's been injured a lot this year, so it's not all on him. Plus, he had that whole drama with Odell and stuff.
Right, but he's putting bad stuff on tape. Anytime you put bad highlights on tape, it's not good for you. No matter if you're hurt or not, GMs don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
They're not going to look at you and say, oh, you threw 10 interceptions, but you were a little hurt.
Yeah. So, yeah, Cleveland has a whole set of problems they have to figure out after this year. Whether Baker's that guy they're going to be sticking with long term, or is it time to give up the farm to move up number 1 and draft a QB. Granted, maybe not this year because QB's class isn't looking too great.
I say the QB class this year is pretty mediocre.
Yeah, so, but maybe Stefanski, you can make some magic with a QB not named Baker Mayfield.
Give him Malik Willis.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe a Malik Willis would be great in that offense.
Give him Malik Willis.
Yeah, I think Malik Willis would be really nice in Cleveland.
Give him Mac Jones.
Nah, I think who knows? Maybe he prefer like a very athletic QB rather than a dot you up QB.
Well, I mean, even if you had Mac Jones, though, at least Mac Jones can throw accurately.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mac Jones is the best quarterback so far in this class.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
I would dare say Davis Mills is number 2.
I wouldn't say that.
Are you gonna put Trevor ahead of him?
No,
Justin Fields.
probably.
Hmm, to each their own.
Justin
Atlanta,
Fields is good.
Dallas. Atlanta, Dallas. This was a snooze fest, and we should not even bother talking about this game, other than the
No.
fact that Dallas did hold a 28-3 lead over Atlanta at some point in the third quarter.
Yep.
Uh,
Atlanta knows.
yeah, Atlanta knows. Carolina versus Arizona. Arizona was without Kyler and D Hop again for the second straight week, and this was Cam's return game. Now, I don't, I imagine, I think you have a very different opinion on Cam than me.
I think he'll be good for a stretch of like 4 or 5 games here, and then the hype will wear off.
Yeah,
And Cam Newton will go back to Cam Newton things that he was like with the Patriots. And yeah,
yeah,
that'll be the end of the Cam Newton return.
yeah. I have not been high on Cam. Uh, Granted, he did have 2 touchdowns, but also granted they were 2 goal line touchdowns. So take that as you will.
They're both within 5 yards, right?
They're both with like even 3.
Oh, okay.
So like I think one of them was like a 2 yard run and another was like a 1 or 2 yard pass. So take that as you will. Who got them to that point to get to the goal line? I'll just leave it at that.
PJ Walker.
Yeah, and
So disrespectful. They got him to the
I
goal
know,
line. They give the ball to Cam.
I know it. Yeah, it is what it is. But Cam back, good feel good story, but I don't think it's gonna be lasting too much longer. Minnesota Chargers. I'll let you take the stage on this one because I imagine you watched all of it.
Kirk Cousins can ball. People just don't want to. They don't want to say it though. For
Yeah,
some reason, I don't understand.
yeah. Are you? Yeah, I put that in the notes. Kirk Cousins is good, and people just refuse to admit it.
It's for some reason people won't just tell Kirk Cousins, "Hey, you're good." They always got to find something. Hey,
Yeah,
he can't win the big game. Well, there's 21 other people on that field that couldn't win the game either. Then, so
it's just funny to make fun of Kirk Cousins than it
yeah,
is to
I
praise
just
him
I think the great big corporations in the media world just love pooping all over Kirk.
because it's fun to do, fun and easy to do, I should say.
People actually compare Kirk's and Philip Rivers' careers together. Obviously, Kirk doesn't have the stats that Philip Rivers has, but they have them as good regular season quarterbacks that once they make it to the playoffs, they can't win the game.
I mean, that's not a bad comparison.
No,
Phil Rivers is a Hall of Famer. At least I think so.
right, and obviously Kirk's got a quarter of the stats that Philip Rivers has, but
Yeah, so
neither one of them are dominant quarterbacks in the NF or in the playoffs like they are in the regular season.
yeah, so yeah,
But
I think Phil's actually a great comparison for Kirk, for being honest.
that Minnesota defense this week played really well without Harrison Smith, without Daniil Hunter, no Anthony Barr, no
Also, the
Paskey.
Magic 8 Ball lied to me. It lied to me, and for that I will use it again on our next video, our next episode.
Not gonna put it in timeout.
No, it's here to stay.
All right, Mason. Now you tell us about Seattle Green Bay.
There was no game. This we live in a simulation. This is all fake. Russell Wilson's still hurt. Uh, Jamal got a pick. The defense actually played good. Yeah, defense played good against a very good Green Bay offense. Like I said, Jamal got his first pick as a Seahawk, which I was very excited for. I even texted you immediately as it happened in all caps. But Russell Wilson looked like the worst Russell Wilson I've seen since he's been in the league. Old boy was making dumb throws. Couldn't make his traditional deep balls. And Cody, me and you both know how accurate and great watching those Russell Wilson deep balls are. He could not hit a single one of them. I
Yeah,
don't know if it was because his finger was kind of messing with him, or if how close or not close he was to 100, but he looked bad, rusty, any other word he could think. If you watch the game, and yeah, I currently reside in Spain misery.
It looked like Russ was cooking at the local McDonald's and not at your local steakhouse.
Yeah,
So
but it's
I know
Russell.
Russ will
I
take
I I believe that he will come back good, better. He he can't play any worse. So
Russ will still be doing Russ things here next week, and it'll be all right.
yeah, Russell can't play any worse than he did this week. So the bar for him this week is super low. That throwing a single touchdown will be an improvement.
Now,
Also, this was
granted,
the first time that Russell Wilson has ever been skunked.
and honestly, if Russ plays another bad game next week, I think y'all season is basically over.
Yeah.
Almost every game here is a must-win for Seattle now.
But I think what we're 3 and Payne.
Six, 3 and 6.
Yeah, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that if we, because we're playing the Cards this week, it's not out of the realm of possibility if we lose this week that we make the playoffs at like 9-7 or 10-7. I think.
Right, but it would make it really hard to win out.
Oh, absolutely, it's gonna be.
Especially the defense that only comes and goes when it pleases.
But if you look at our schedule, we play the Cards, we play the football team, we play the Niners, the Texans, the Rams again, the Bears, the Lions, and then the Cards again. So,
Yeah.
6 of those games should be in Seahawks' favor.
Yeah.
One, two, three, four. At least 4 of those games should be in our favor. The other 4 division games. So those are literal toss-ups. And, yeah.
As long as you guys can go 2-2 and finish the year 9-7.
We need to finish the year 9 with at least 9 wins in order to have a shot at the playoffs.
You have to win at least 9 games already. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, to make playoffs.
Yeah, that's the only way we're going to be able to even have a chance. So,
Even then, it would be hard because they're at that point they'd be competing with the Vikings probably.
yeah, Vikings would have the tiebreaker over us. So we need Vikings to pretty much have a shitty rest of the second half. So fuck you, Cody.
Problem is that the Vikings have the Niners, the Lions, the Steelers, the Bears, the Rams, the Packers, and the Bears again.
Yeah, so Seahawks and Vikings both have relatively easy
Well, the
schedules.
Bears aren't good, so that should be 2-0, and I'll say 1-1. Should be able to get the Steelers. Will beat the Lions.
You say that, but you're gonna be their first win.
We beat them by 2 last time we played them, so that's also a possibility of a loss. And we usually go 1-1, if not 2-0 against the Packers.
And you guys already lost against them, didn't you? Did you guys already play the Packers this year so far?
No.
We played them twice in the second half.
This week's the first game.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll see. Philly, Denver. Did you see the rookie-on-rookie violence that was committed this game?
Pat Surtain and
Devontae Smith?
And Devontae Smith just went up and over him.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary.
It was awesome as hell.
Not even was it rookie on rook?
It was rook on rook.
But last year those fellas were teammates.
I know, which made it even. It was rook on rook and former teammates on former teammates. So, that's what made it even better. I think the funniest thing to come out of this game was the post game photo of the jersey swaps you sent me.
Surtain standing there holding his own jersey.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I mean, come on, Jalen, get in there.
I know, for real. They were all teammates at one point, I think.
Yeah. Jalen and them are very good friends.
Yeah. It was. I just thought it was funny that all those 3 decided not to, or they just couldn't figure out a good way to get Surtain without his jersey.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Could have at least let Surtain switch with Judy.
Yeah, like
the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum. KC versus Vegas. Does KC got their swagger back?
Probably.
Or is this just like it's the Raiders who are going through their own shit?
Well, the Chiefs are that Chiefs defense was rolling
It
last week,
was.
so if they can keep that momentum going throughout the rest of the season, look out, the Chiefs may be back, and they got the division lead right now.
Yeah,
Man,
they hold yeah, they hold sole possession over in the AFC West. So they look good, and yeah, let's see how long this lasts. Rams Niners. Uh, I put in our notes. Odell Beckham Sr. is already working on a new video of Stafford missing OBJ.
I mean, people also forget he only played, I think it was 12 snaps.
Yeah, but in those
Yeah,
12 snaps, he got 2 receptions for like 18 yards. I think that's right. And
right, but
Stafford threw a
yeah,
pick trying to hit Odell.
yeah, but that's not on Odell.
No, but
I,
neither.
and I just
But I
people also gotta remember he was just thrown under the butt, like thrown in there to the wolves basically, just because Woods went down right away.
yeah,
So he didn't get that week that he was planning on getting to learn playbooks and stuff.
yeah. Also, I would
So
just like to point out that NFC West is like is a weird ass triangle. You have the Seahawks that always 9 times out of 10 beat the Niners. The Niners that 9 times out of 10 beat the Rams. The Rams 9 times out of 10 beat the Seahawks. And then you have the Cards that just kind of kick everyone's ass equally. It's so
yeah,
jarring to watch. Just a triangle of ass kicking, and then the Cards just occasionally insert themselves into this triangle when they feel like it. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how the NFC West works.
the NFC West is always a strange division, whether teams with losing records are making the playoffs or they're just beating the hell out of each other.
I know. There's very
Seems like they're all really good or really bad at the same time.
yeah, except this year where it seems like two are good, two are bad.
Which two are good, Mason?
I will not talk about that. Hey, Cody, you want to talk about Thursday Night Football?
It's going to be a giant snooze fest. New England's going to walk all over Atlanta.
You don't you think we'll get a 28-3 reference by the
I
commentary
don't think
team?
it'll be that bad.
You think commentary team's gonna over or under 5 times that commentary makes mention of Super Bowl, whatever that was, and mentions
Over.
yeah
You can put it at 50 and we'll put it at over.
probably.
That's all we'll talk about.
That's the only storyline heading into this game, if we're being honest.
But I don't think it'll get a 28-3 because I think the final score will be something along the lines of 35-17.
I mean, even that's possible of a 28-3 at some point.
Right, but I think Atlanta will drive down, score 2 early touchdowns, and then New England defense will settle into their own, and that'll be the end of the game because Mac Jones will just chew away clock and eat away at that defense,
Yeah, I mean that's
just
probably
like he did with Cleveland.
yeah that's probably what's gonna happen. So, I imagine we both have New England winning this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we are currently about 24 minutes into this episode. So let's finish out this episode with our first edition of the third and long power rankings. We're only doing the top 10.
We should try to do this every other week if possible
We should,
for the,
but there's
for the rest of the year.
there's usually more stuff to talk about. This was just a very slow week of NFL stuff. Very bad week of NFL stuff.
I'll
So,
try to squeeze it in every now and then.
yeah. I don't want the episodes running too long. So,
Right.
all right. Let's start with 10. Who do you have, Cody, as your 10th
I
best team?
know I shouldn't have them here, but I got the Chiefs at 10.
I put the Bucks at 10.
I got the Chiefs at 10 just because they're a division leader. They are playing better. And they still got the entire Super Bowl team essentially, minus the offensive line on that roster. So
Yeah. I mean, I put the Bucks here strictly because they just lost to the football team.
right,
So, I mean, that kind of if they had won, they'd probably be top around closer to 5. But that losing to the football team should not. You should not be. That team should not be losing to a team without a name.
Absolutely not.
Number 9, I have Baltimore.
I got New England.
Mm. I put Baltimore here just because I mean, th- they're currently atop of the AFC North, and despite all this injuries they've gone through, Lamar has played great. The defense has played pretty well. And they've just been shown they've shown extreme resilience that they could get through all this stuff. Even
I like the
even
Patriots here just because they've rattled off 4 wins in a row now
yeah,
and taken over that division. And I don't really think there's anybody that's going to challenge them too tough on taking over that. Well, obviously Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Actually, Buffalo has it.
but
Buffalo has a division lead because they've got
three
their bye
losses.
weeks and they only have 3 losses.
Yep.
But no, I think New England's 9. They're playing better this last month. Mac Jones is looks like he's a guy at quarterback right now, and that defense is rolling. So
Yeah.
if they keep winning, they'll keep surprising people, and I wouldn't doubt Bill Belichick in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, they're definitely looking at the 5 seed. So
Yeah,
yeah. Who's your 8?
Tampa.
Man, we were just kind of flip flopped on this stuff because I have Chiefs at 8.
I got Tampa Bay at 8 just because obviously they lost to the football team. But then again, it's Tom Brady. He'll bounce back. They'll do their thing. They lost without Antonio Brown, no Gronk. I don't know if they were missing any defensive starters, but once they get healthy, they'll be back to true form and they'll be playing well again.
Yeah. I put Chiefs at 8 just because they won the last 3 their last 3 games. Granted, they all haven't been pretty, but I think this week kind of just solidified, like, hey, we're still here. We're not going.
We're still the motherfucking
We're
Chiefs.
we're still the Chiefs. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. We may have started slow. Our defense may have been horrendous, but we're still here. And
Right.
this was just a kind of a wake up call for the entire league. It's like,
Absolutely.
hey, don't count us out. So at 7, I have the Pats for reasons you've listed off. I just think their defense is top 5 right now. Mac Jones is playing good football considering he's a rookie, and that offense should not be as good as it is with minimal talent it has, and they're still making it work.
I have Baltimore.
We have the same back 4 teams, just
Just
in
a
different
little
order.
jumbled up differently.
Yeah, I imagine.
But no,
Yeah, yeah. I imagine it's for the same
you,
reasons I did.
you told the people why Baltimore deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah,
I had him a little bit higher.
I probably should have had
Lamar
the
Jackson.
Ravens higher than the Chiefs, but oh well.
It is what it is.
Yeah. 6. I have the Rams.
Me too.
Oh, nice. I imagine Rams. They got whooped by Jimmy Garoppolo and Debo Samuel and company. So
Yep.
they've lost the last 2 games, and
That
they.
Rams defense looked so lost.
I know it's funny because the Rams, after I think it was the Von Miller trade, they tweeted out something saying like we're all in, using a GIF from a movie where the person in the GIF lost everything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny, and it's very accurate considering what happened with
Yeah.
what's
I still
happened.
think they'll figure it out.
Oh, I still have full confidence they will, but it brings me joy seeing the Rams lose twice in a
Really.
row to teams they should have blown out. If we're being honest,
It probably made you real happy to see Jalen Ramsey just chewing people's ass on the sidelines.
absolutely. Fuck the Rams. Anyway, number 5, I have Buffalo.
I have Dallas.
All right, Buffalo. I mean, I don't think losing to the Jaguars without putting up a single touchdown is going to do you any favors. But they're still atop the AFC East, and they actually have competition this year for the AFC East. So, and Josh Allen is playing really good still. Stephon Diggs, when he gets involved in the offense, still a top 5 receiver. That defense, well, not exactly. I mean, I wouldn't say not exactly great, but they're good. They have players on that defense that can make plays when you need them to. So,
And Dallas, I mean, people know they're an all-around fantastic team. You know, at the end of the day, they're going to win a lot of games. They just decimated the damn Falcons.
but it is the
Granted, it's the
Falcons.
Falcons. It's the Falcons, and they tend to shoot themselves in the foot quite often, especially when they block kicked in the end zone or whatever that was.
Yeah,
So, you know, Dallas is good. Can't put them outside your top five because they're just that damn good.
yeah, and that's why I have the Dallas Cowboys at my number 4 spot.
I have Buffalo.
Yeah, so we don't really need to re-explain what we just said. Top
No.
three. Uh, who do you have at your 3rd spot?
Arizona.
I have Green Bay. Now you probably could have put Green Bay at number 2 for me, but yeah, I mean, I no last minute change. Arizona's not now my number 2,
And I mean,
or Green Bay's now my number 2. Arizona's my number 3.
I understand that Arizona got decimated by the damn Panthers this week.
But they were
But
without Kyler with that and D Hop,
you
so
can't penalize them when they're not playing with their two best offensive players. So
yeah, so
at the end of
I
the day,
I
they're
wouldn't
still
take I wouldn't take that game at face value. And if you look back, they last week they who did they play last week?
the
Uh,
week before.
yeah, week before this week. Week 9 cards. They played the Niners, and then they whooped on the Niners with Colt McCoy. So I mean, that Panthers defense is really good. So don't count them out. But
Right.
even with this loss, Arizona's still a top 3 team. Uh,
Yeah.
they've been playing hurt. They went 1-1, and they're going to playing Seattle in Seattle this week. So hopefully Kyler's back, and hopefully they don't kick our ass too bad.
Now, if they lose this week to Seattle,
Yeah,
then you start putting them in that 6, 7, 8
yeah,
range. And
yeah. If they lose at full strength, then you kind of start knocking them. But I wouldn't take this week at face value for the cards.
no.
And that brings us
Who
to
you got
number
at number 2?
2. I have Green Bay now.
I have Tennessee.
Yeah, I have Green Bay at number 2. They blanked the Seahawks, but that was mainly due to their defensive efforts. Uh, Offensively, the Packers didn't look great against a very mediocre at best Seahawks defense. Granted, they scored twice, but that was just 2 late touchdowns after the Seahawks had been on the field literally all game, or on the defense all game. So they were winded, and for the most part, Seahawks held that. Yeah, they held Aaron Rodgers in check. He threw more picks and touchdowns. Thank you, Jamal. Uh, and yeah,
If Tennessee had Derrick Henry and Julio Jones on the field, I probably would put them in number 1. But they're not winning in dominant fashion. They're not doing flashy wins. They're just winning football games. And I think at the end of the day, if the Titans played the Packers would be good enough to beat the Titans probably 7 or 8 times out of 10.
that's fair.
You know, at the end of the day, without Julio Jones, without Derrick Henry, you're not going to beat the top tier teams. And I don't consider the Saints a top tier team, and they took care of the Saints. But I'm not going to say they dominated them because for that first half, it was still relatively close.
I mean, even the final score was close. It
So,
was 23-21. So
yeah, so I mean, it's not dominating wins like it used to be with Derrick Henry. And so, without those convincing wins, I'm going to do this college football playoff style and dock them a little more points just because they're not convincingly beating teams.
yeah, I mean,
Now, granted, it is the NFL. You're not going to dominate anybody every.
every week, unless you're playing me in Madden, then it's a blowout every week.
That's fair.
Even on those new sliders, I whooped the Titans. Speaking of Titans, I have them at my number one spot. Uh,
I
me,
have the I have the Vikings at number one.
oh, makes sense. Uh, yeah, I mean, I have Tennessee at number one just because, like you said, they're injured, but even despite all those injuries, they're still winning without their best, probably their two best offensive players. Now you could say AJ Brown's better than Julio, and I wouldn't argue that because not out of the realm of possibility that at this point in their career that AJ Brown is better than Julio. But without two of their top offensive players, they're still finding ways to win. So I just think that has to count for something. Granted, it may not last long. They could lose out the rest of the year and just miss the playoffs entirely. But as of right now, I think with them winning without their best players on offense, it has to count for something, and that's why I put them at my number one spot.
The other thing is if one of those three running backs they have that they're splitting carries with right now would just take over that role and assert themselves as the number one running back and show that they should be the lead back, I'd probably be a little more high on them. But since none of those running backs seem to be taking that next step to try to secure themselves like a nice 15, 20
But
carry
we're
game.
we're comparing them to Derrick Henry, and that's not exactly
No,
a fair comparison.
no, I get that. But if you look at Green Bay, for example, when Aaron Jones went down, they could plug in A.J. Dillon and still get 22 carries for 100 yards and two tutties.
We don't talk about that, but go on.
It's just one of those things where with Dalvin Cook, when Alexander Madison stepped up and he put in a very serviceable couple of games, right?
Yeah,
So they just need to find that running back that can step in and still have very serviceable games rather than Adrian Peterson with 13 rushes for 20 yards.
yeah, but no, yeah, those are fair points. So I'm you don't actually have Vikings at number one, do you?
Yeah, I have the Minnesota Packers.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I refuse to say. I refuse to put the green and gold at number one, so I'm just gonna. It'll be purple and gold,
Okay.
but just know that when I'm talking about the Minnesota here at number one, I'm referring to the green and gold team from the state of Wisconsin.
The Packers, yeah, the Green Bay
No, no,
Packers, the Green Bay
no.
Packers, the ones that have Aaron Rodgers and the Devontae Adams and all them.
Uh, yeah, but it's the Minnesota team. That, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Yep. Green Bay Packers in my power rankings are 32.
Ah, I actually have I actually have the Niners and the Cardinals down there too, and the Rams. I just rearranged my entire power rankings now to have
All
the
right, fair
Rams, the
enough.
Cards, and the uh, Niners all share spot 33.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I'm not gonna even explain why they're my number one team
It's
because
self-explanatory.
you just named it all off. You know.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. That's this episode of Third and Long podcast. Thank you all for listening. Like always, be sure to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Be sure to follow us on our socials right there. Personal socials up here. Cody's pointing at his as always. And we will see you all next time when we go over week 11. Talk about Thursday Night Football, and who knows? Maybe something happens by the next time we record. So
Right, yeah, in week 11.
I know it's gone by so fast.
Too fast.
It has. All right, and we will see you all next time. Bye.